Hello and welcome to Just My Cup of Crochet. In this tutorial we're going to look at making a simple crocheted coaster. So to begin this tutorial we need some yarn and a corresponding hook. So for this example I've got an acrylic double knit and I'm using a 4mm hook. Normally if you were making a coaster you would ideally look at using cotton, as this is more heat protective and won't melt like the acrylic. However, for the ease of this tutorial I'm just going to use acrylic. So let's get started. So to begin we need to do a magic circle. If you're unsure about magic circles, I do have a full tutorial that goes into how to do it in more depth. However, I'll show you briefly here. So we're going to place the yarn over the palm of our hands and hold it in place. I'm going to wrap the yarn down. I'm going to cross it over. I'm going to cross it over there, and we're going to hold it in place. Next, we're going to put the hook under the first strand, pull through the second. Next, we're going to face it towards us, then towards our knuckles and away from us. I'm then going to scoop up the yarn and pull through the loop. There we go. That's it. So, there's our circle, just there. Next we're going to chain 2. The chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch for this pattern. We're going to do trebles into the circle, so we're going to work straight through the middle of that circle. So as they're UK trebles, American doubles, we're going to yarn over, put the hook through the circle, through the magic ring, and pull through the loop. We're going to complete our treble with yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2. If you're unsure on the UK trebles, US doubles, just pop over to my tutorial on Absolute Beginners, how to double crochet. So we're going to carry on doing this until we've got 12 trebles into this ring. There we go. 3, 4, 5. You may want to pause the tutorial while you're doing your trebles, or once we get to the end of this bit, and then unpause it once you've got your 12. Let's have a look. I've actually lost count, so let's count. With trebles we can count the posts. So here's a post. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oop. 10, 11 and 12. There we go. Okay, so we've got our 12 trebles here, all into our magic circle. We'll count them again to check. We've got 1, 2, so we ignore the chain because in this pattern the chain's not counting. So ignore the chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so next we're going to pull the circle in. To do this, we just take the tail that's sticking out under our stitches and we hold these flat. So we want to keep the trebles flat with the V's on the outside. If you don't hold them, they might twist and that could cause you a few problems. So let's hold that, holding it flat. Pull it nice and tight. There we go. So we've pulled that in. Now we're going to slip stitch to the top of our first treble, so we're going to still ignore this chain 2, and this here is the top of our first treble, so slip stitch, there we go. So now we've got 12 stitches in our magic ring. There. Next we're going to chain 2 again. Again, this does not count as a stitch in our pattern, in our coaster, and we're going to do 2 trebles in each stitch around. Let's start here, so that's 1. This is also known as an increase stitch, putting 2 trebles into, or 2 stitches into 1 stitch is an increase. So as you can see just here, we've now got 2 in there, so we're going to move to our next stitch, which is this V here. And again, we're increasing, so we're going to put 2 trebles into that and every subsequent stitch from there. Just a reminder, I am talking in UK terms, so if you're American you'll be doing doubles. When we get to the end of this round and we've done 2 in each, we will have doubled our stitch count, so you should now, not now, but at the end, have 24 stitches. If you're having trouble finding your stitches, let's finish this. There we go. So you look for your V. You're always putting it under both parts of the stitch, both bits of the V. The V's are at the top of your post. So we have a post here, and there's your V. You go round, post here, and there's a V. There's your post. And just go round, pop in 2 stitches, 2 trebles, UK trebles in each of the V's. Caught up, there we go. I can hear a helicopter out there. Okay, so nearly all the way around. Sorry, came off the screen. So what we'll do, we'll get to this point and we'll check. So we've got 2 there, so we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. So this is our last stitch just here at V. We want 24 stitches, so 2 in there, 1 and 2. There we go, so that gives us 24, so it should look something like this. So to finish off that round, we're going to slip stitch to the top of the first treble. So ignore the chain, and slip stitch to the top. So we've got the treble there, and there's your first, and there's the top of that first treble. There we go, so it brings it in nicely. It should look like this. Don't worry if it's curling up a little bit. It'll all resolve itself in the next few rounds. Okay, so next we're going to go on to round 3 and we're going to chain 2. Again, this does not count as a stitch. And we're going to pop 1 treble in the same stitch. Pop 1 treble in the same space as the chain is coming out of. So up in here. So in this one here. So that's 1 treble. In the next stitch, we're going to put 2 trebles. One. 2. Okay, And then in the next stitch along, we're going to put one treble, UK treble, and then in the next stitch along, there should be, I'm going to pop two. So we're going to repeat this all the way round. 2 stitches, then 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 1 stitch. And by the end of this round, we should have 36 trebles to make up round 3. If you lose count as you're going around, it's quite simple to have a look. Just have a little pull here. So we can see there's 2, and we can see there's 1 and 2. There we go. Next one is 1 treble. And then 2 trebles. And then 1. 2. One. When we get to the end, we should finish in as in a 2 treble. So what we got? This is 2. So that should work. So we've got 2 stitches left, so we will do 1 in the next, and then in this last one we'll pop 2. Okay, so that's round 3. We should have 36 stitches, so we're going to go round and count them. Make sure, so we don't count the chain, which is this bit just here. We start with the first treble, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So there you go, we have 36. Again, we ignore this chain here and we slip stitch to the top of the first treble. So that's this V here. And slip stitch. There we go. That's round 3 complete. Now we're going to go to round 4. This is where it starts getting a bit different. We're going to chain 4. Now the first 3 count as a treble, and the 4th counts as a chain 1 space. Next we're going to put 1 treble in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 treble in here, 1 treble in the next stitch, and then we're going to chain 1, so chain 1, there we go. We're going to repeat that all the way around, so 1 stitch in the next 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to chain 1. Let's get in some more yarn, and then we're going to repeat this, so we're going to pop a treble in the next 2, so that's 1 and 2, and chain 1, 1, 2, and chain 1, chain 1, so there you go. We're getting this 2, a gap, 2 and a gap, 2 and a gap. So we're going to keep going like that all the way around. So by the end of this round, our stitch count will remain the same. We will still have 36 trebles, but we will also have 18 chain 1 spaces. One, 2, chain 1, 1, 2, and chain 1, 1, 2, and chain 1. So this is how we're looking at the moment. Don't worry that it's coming up a little bit. Again, that will sort itself out. There we go. Just a little bit more. So 1, 2, chain 1. Right, we've got 3 stitches left now. We've got 1, 2, 3. So we're going to do the next 2. 1, 2, and we're going to chain 1. We're going to put 1 in this very last stitch here. We've got 1. There's our post. There's our stitch just there. In there. Now we are going to join to our chain 4. We're going to join in the 3rd chain of the chain 4. So there's number 1 there. I'll bring it right in so you can see. 1, 2, 3, and that's the 4th one there. So that's going to act as our chain 1 space, and these 3 here are going to be our treble. So just going to pop it through the chain and slip stitch. There we go. So as you can see, it's incorporated it into our trebles. There we go. So we're on the last round now, round 5. We're going to just chain 1 for this round. Next, we're going to do a shell stitch into the first chain 1 space. So this is our chain 1 space just here, because we're doing 2 trebles, space, 2 trebles, space, 2 trebles, space. So come back round. This is our chain 1 space. So we're going to do 7 trebles into this chain 1 space. So let's carry on. So 7 trebles all in that same space. So that's 1, 2. We're going into that space. We're not going in any stitches, just straight into the hole. I've done 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so they're all into that space, not in a stitch, they're all into the space. Okay, so we've got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the next chain space is this one here. So we skip 2 trebles, 1, 2, and we go into this next space. We're going to do a UK double, a US single. So just 1. Then we're going to find the next chain 1 space, which is 2 trebles along. 1, 2. This is our space here. We're going to go into the space and we're going to repeat our shell stitch with 7 trebles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this round is all worked into chain spaces and not stitches. So here we go. We have 2 of our shell stitches done, 2 trebles in between each stitch. So next we're going to repeat this bit. So we're going to go skip 2 trebles, 1, 2. Here's our chain space and we're going to put a UK double into there. Just 1. Next we're going to skip 2 trebles, 1, 2, and we're going to use this chain space and we're going to go in with our shell stitch. So 7 UK trebles, US doubles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There we go. So we're going to skip 2 trebles there, and we're going to go into this double space in here. Not like that. We're going to go in with a double into our chain space. Sorry. So next we're going to go into the next chain 2 space with 7 trebles. So 1, 2, and we're going to go into this space here, straight into the space and complete our shell stitch, which is 7 trebles. And so, there we go. This is how it's looking at the moment. So next we're going to find the next chain space, which is 2 trebles on. So 1, 2, and there's our space. We're going to UK double in there, just the 1, US single. Next we're going to skip those next 2 trebles and go in that chain space. 1 with our shell stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. There we go, so that's the 7 in our shell stitch. Next we're going to move round, so we again skip our 2 trebles and use the chain space to put 1 UK double in. There we go. Then we're going to skip the next 2 and use the next chain 1 space along for our shell stitches. So in there we'll be doing 7 trebles. There we go. Okay, so we're finding our next chain 1 space, so it's this space here after these 2 trebles, and we do our UK double. As we've done all the way around, we're keeping our repeat. There we go, looking nice. And then 7 trebles for our shell stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay, next skip the 2, find the next space along, there we go, and pop a double in, UK double, in we go. Right, next one, skip 2 trebles into the next space with 7 trebles for our shell stitch. So skip the next 2 trebles, we're looking for the next chain space, so treble, treble, there's our chain space, and again we're going there with our UK double, US single, and find the next chain space after that is there, and we're going to put in our last shell stitch, so our last set of 7 trebles goes in there. One, 2, 3, 6, 7. There we go. Okay, so then we're just going to find our last chain space, and in, oh, I haven't finished that. In there goes our double crochet, UK double. There we go. Now we're going to finish this round. Here we go. We've done all of our stitches. We're going to finish this round with a slip stitch to the first. To the chain 1 which is hidden. So we've got our 7 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're looking for the chain 1, so it is this little bit down here right at the bottom. Pop our hook in, yarn over and slip stitch into that. There we go. Next we're going to get our scissors and we're going to cut here and finish off. Cut the yarn over and just pull it through the stitch. Pull that tight. There we go. So now you have completed your first coaster. Pop that there. So as I said, ideally you would want to do this in cotton. And at the end you cut your tails a bit shorter and weave them all in. So finish it off weaving in, make them in cotton, and then they'll be heat resistant. But that's the end of our simple coaster done in crochet. If you have any questions, just let me know. And don't forget to subscribe to Just My Cup of Crochet's YouTube channel.